Today? No. No. Not today. Mixed emotions. Of course, extremely satisfying with my club beginning the new season with a dominant 5-0 victory. But on the other hand, a game that I perfectly analysed fell apart at the very end. I said Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2. And then Rio scores with virtually the last kick of the game. If it was that simple, I would be here in front of you, holding my hands up in the air and saying, I analysed it wrong. I made a couple of mistakes. But I didn't, did I? I didn't, did I, Liverpool fans? I didn't, did I? New season. Same exact thing. Nothing has changed. Ever since Hank Schrader has arrived at that football club, something has changed dramatically. A football club that was all about honor and integrity. Could you imagine Bob Paisley and Bill Shankly winning in the manner in which Hank Schrader has won and how he has won last season? They'd be disgusted. Jurgen Klopp would be disgusted. Steven Gerrard had to spend an entire decade and more playing with below average players. But not just that, fighting against Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson's cheating Manchester United. And now the tides have turned. And modern Liverpool fans, you don't even have the balls to accept what is happening in front of you. You don't even have the balls to admit that what is happening in front of you is not correct. The older Liverpool fans, I know part of you, you feel sickened. You feel disgusted by what happened yesterday. I know, I understand that. I respect that. But to the rest, shame on you. There's a manner in which to win. You call that a champion's victory. A champion's victory is when you play bad and you still find a way to win by merit. Not when you play bad and you win by cheating. Hours upon hours. Hours upon hours spent analysing that game. Only for what happened yesterday to occur. It would have been my greatest ever spoiler to date. 10v12. 10v12. And they could have found a way. First and foremost, massive shout out to the Newcastle fans. You were absolutely fantastic yesterday. And let me tell you something. If you decide to sell Isaac to those guys, I'll lose a lot of respect for that football club. Because after the way they behaved in the summer, what they done yesterday, it would be sickening. Leave him in the under-23s for all that matters. You cannot give Isaac to a team that already has the PGMOL in the back pockets. Jamie Carragher, Sky, Thierry Henry, not a single word about the decisions that went against Newcastle yesterday. But are we surprised? Because the Big Six, they're protected. Not only can they buy whoever they want, whenever they want, whilst the others get punished when they attempt to buy players. But the media are in their back pockets. They never say anything, ever. Only when the smaller teams or when the big teams get screwed, they'll speak, which is very rare as it is, especially a club like Liverpool. For the match itself, I don't have much to say. Liverpool were absolutely terrible. I said throughout the entirety of last season, this will not be sustainable. I was wrong. It's not sustainable this year. I think Liverpool are even worse as a team. But there is one key similarity. When you play with 12, only then may it be sustainable. Can you please explain to me where the 11 minutes came from? Let's start from the end instead of from the front. Where did the 11 minutes come from? Please explain to me how Konate was still on the pitch. Please educate me. Please explain to me how this is not a penalty. Please explain to me how the other one with Gakpo holding was not a penalty. Not once do they have a look at it. Not once. Sickening. Konate, his head is in Madrid. Forget about Isaac. If we're talking from a tactical football point of view, which is always tough after a game like yesterday, because not only was there not much tactics involved, but the referee took the game upon himself. Gueye has to be the number one priority. You need to bring him before the game against Arsenal, because if you don't, you're going to be in big trouble. This is a guy I rated. He doesn't know what planet he's on. I mean, that was a disastrous performance. Kerkes, Lord have mercy. What are Arsenal going to do to this kid? My God. Talk about not knowing where he is. That was absolutely embarrassing for the first Newcastle goal. He's too scared to even jump and challenge. He cowered. He cowered like the little boy that he is. Coward. Bailed by the refs eventually. The midfield. What midfield? Non-existent. Yeah, Gravenberch came back and he scored. Decent second half. Look at the first half. All he's done was give the ball to the Newcastle players. Non-existent midfield. Oh, Soboslai, how good was he? What do you mean, how good was he? He had a decent second half. We spent the entirety of the first game giving the ball to Newcastle players. What he done for the third goal? Chapeau. Chapeau. That was genius. I'm very critical of him. But that little dummy, that was genius. And of course, the kid coming on and taking it that way. I am happy for the kid. You know, like, seeing a kid come on and winning a game like that in the fashion in which they done it, sure. But everything else, sickening. Salah, I told you, people put him in FPL, they make wrong decisions, and they get rewarded when they shouldn't. That's everything that you're affecting. Leaderboard points, FPL, Checheng Bibling, everything. Everything is affected. Not to mention how many clubs at the end of the season lose money because of decisions like those. Wirtz, I can't not speak about him. I said he's gonna struggle. Newcastle will pocket him. It's not his type of game. I urge Liverpool fans to be patient with him. I promise you he will come good. Yesterday just was never gonna be his game. Never. For Newcastle, listen. Ignorant, stupid, naive decision. But those that played football, you'd understand. They're acting like it was this horrific challenge. Even Van Dijk knew he shouldn't have been sent off. Bruno Guimaraes, much love to you, chapeau, kind sir. And let me tell you something. Direct message to Alexander Isak. You coward. You do realize that if you didn't throw your freaking toys out of the Prem, Newcastle would have 6 points out of 6, right? That have been 2-0 up yesterday. That's how bad Liverpool were. All you need is just a striker. That's all Newcastle need, is a number 9. It didn't even have to be Isak. Heck, any other striker in the league, just someone. And you'd have been 2-0 up. So congratulations, you coward. You let everybody down. But either way, sickening scenes. And I do sincerely hope that things will change, but I'm not optimistic whatsoever. Chapeau to Livramento as well, and Lewis Hall I thought was exceptional when he came on as well. So the future is still bright for Newcastle. Yesterday you went against 12. And then of course the good news. My club. Christian Kivu's first game in charge before we get into the team of the week and the flops 11. I say a new look Inter. It really wasn't. It's the same team that lost 5-0 in the Champions League final with the addition of a very special player in Petar Sucic. New manager, of course. And we've seen the first signs of Christian Kivu's Inter. Inzaghi, you little snake in the grass. The best thing you could have done for us was F off to Saudi. You weren't special. You never done anything. It wasn't you. It's as clear as day it wasn't you. You're a coward. The immediate thing that you can notice is the mentality shift in the players under Kivu. Inzaghi, he is a crybaby, a loser who has never won and accomplished anything in his life. When Lazio won the league, it was definitely not because of him. He was the guy on the bench. He's a bona fide loser. And with Kivu, immediately there was a shift. Kivu's a treble winner. Kivu's been there in the game. He's won everything there is to win. And he's immediately transmitted that to the players. We have to be more nasty. And you could see that, sure, Inter still had issues, especially in the first half with transitions. That's a big problem. That's where we hope, Diouf can help, but madre mia. I couldn't believe what I was seeing this guy when we watched the game in its entirety after the Liverpool game. What on earth did we freaking buy here, man? I knew I was concerned, man. We should have freaking got Manu Kone, man. Terrible, man. The ball was bouncing off of this guy. But one player who we most certainly did not make a mistake is Ange Juan Boni. And you haven't seen Francesco Pio Esposito yet. You soon will. Those of us in the Club World Cup that were there at 3 a.m. against River Plate, you know. But so happy for him to get on the score sheet. And that's the biggest difference with Inter this season. Yes, we need to do more in the window with 1 week remaining. But, to go from Arnautovic and Correa to Boni and Esposito, let's not forget that was still the biggest issue we had last season. It's not necessarily Mkhitaryan starting. It was the fact that we still had those two coming off the bench and not someone like Boni and Esposito. That's going to be a game changer for Inter. Best performance of the weekend in Italy, of course, came from the European vice champions. And I cannot mention, of course, a special shout out to the best centre-back in world football alongside Virgil van Dijk. Sensational. Look at that cross that he done for Marcus Thuram. Nobody, no other centre-back can deliver a cross like that. Speaking of Marcus Thuram, good to see him in form. Finally woke up, and maybe that's what he needed. He needed Boni to come in. He needed Esposito to come in. I was very concerned about him. Of course, this game we got absolutely spot on. Well, almost. I said 3-1, 5-0, give or take. And of course, Lautaro Martinez, who began his Ballon d'Or charge yesterday. Remember, last season he never had preseason, so that set him back. This is a fresh Lauti, ready to go. And it looks like it's going to be an Inter versus Napoli title race again, just like last season. For my team of the week and flops 11, I have gone with Villar in goal. He continued exactly where he left off last season for Roma. I went with Timber, of course, Romero and Bastoni as my 3 centre-backs. Timber, exceptional, even when it came to putting the ball in the back of the net. Bastoni, like I said, there's no words left for him. And Romero, fantastic. Buchanan with a hat-trick. Of course, this team of the week is based on the matches I've kept an eye on, so I'm sure there's other players that deserve to be mentioned. Buchanan, is it a mistake that we made letting him go? We'll see. Palinia and Pedri in midfield. Chouameni very unlucky to miss out. Olise kicked off exactly where he left off last season for Bayern Munich. Nico Pass, a very special footballer. And then, of course, Mbappe and Harry Kane. Is it going to be a straight shootout for the Golden Boot between Mbappe and Harry Kane? We'll see. For my flops 11, Trafford in goal, absolute disaster. Rico Lewis, disgrace of a player. Konate, my God. Kubarsi got spun left, right, and center. Kerkes, shocking. That's back-to-back flop performances for him. Loftus Cheek, dearie me, this guy stinks, man. Bruno Fernandes single-handedly cost Manchester United the 3 points. Kinder and Bremo, I warned United fans last week. They didn't listen. Straight onto the flops he goes. Sherky, that wasn't good. That was concerning. Florian Wirtz, another back-to-back flop performances for him. And up front, I've gone with Santi Jimenez from Milan, who, wow, he's bad. He is really bad up front, Jesus Christ. I'm not sure what he's even good at. So, that's my flops 11. That's my team of the week. Let me know anything that you agree or disagree with. That's going to be it from the Phoenix. I would apologize in the fact that we didn't get a correct spoiler in the Newcastle Liverpool game or a correct outcome. But let's be honest. What can I do? I told you before, and I'll say it again. I will never, ever, ever tweak my algorithm to account for cheating and biased officiating and corruption. I am so sorry. If we get screwed like we done yesterday, then so be it.